What is up, everybody? Today we are going to be installing our bottom bracket and spacers, everything we need on our BMX frame. Here's the bearings. Now, a lot of people do this with, say, a hammer, right? If you're going to do that, I suggest using a rubber mallet, maybe a piece of wood. That is not how we're doing it today. No, sir. I am not a huge fan of hammering on it. So what I did was I've made myself a little press, some old bike parts, an old 14 mil axle. Goes on like that, goes on the cups, and you just press them in. So whether you're using a hammer or a press, I definitely suggest you grease that up first so that everything goes in a little better. So you can just put a little bit of grease on the inside of your cup if you're riding a USBB, or in this case just put it directly on the bottom bracket shell of the frame with a mid BB. Simple stuff. We've got one piece, then you're going to want to do the same thing on the bearing itself. Why not, right? Never have too much lubricant when pressing stuff into stuff. So I just kind of go nuts with it. Doesn't really matter. I throw that on here on my little press. I've got another one here. It's obviously way more used. I just machined this 24-inch one. So that's what's going to press and hold up against my frame on this side where nothing's been installed. Throw that over there. Always trying your best to keep everything straight. Straighter it is, just the easier it's going to be to press in there or hammer. Again, I'm not a huge fan of a hammer, so if you can use a press, I'd go for it. If not, maybe your local bike shop's chill and they can do it for you. Come see us at 514 BMX. We press bottom brackets in all the time. And simply tighten her on. There we go. That's one bearing in. Nice and easy. No hammering. No missing the bearing when you're hammering and denting your frame. Definitely don't want to do that. Let's clean this bad boy off a little bit. Now, there's a pretty important part of the installation. Not everybody does this, but you definitely should. You got to use your tube spacer. What your tube spacer is going to do, it butts up against this side of the bearing here, the inner diameter, and that's what's going to transmit your force from one side to the other. So let's flip this bad boy around. I like to put it like this so I can see everything I'm working on. When it comes to your tube spacer, if you're lucky, it's going to be the exact size you need. And if you're unlucky, it's going to need a little bit of extra. So what you can do is take what came with your bottom bracket, put these spacers here, and you can stack them together like this to get the extra distance you need. I usually, if I do that, I tape them on with some electrical tape to give you that extra. Usually they come in different widths, so you can kind of measure it and see if you've got a depth gauge. If you're lucky enough to have a depth gauge, sink that down in there and see exactly what the measurement you need is. Otherwise, just press that right in like that. So we're going to go ahead and do the same thing we did on the other side. I'll take that out of there for now. Get some lube everywhere, some grease, put it all over the inside of the frame or cup, depending on your style. Do the same thing on the bearing. Don't need to go nuts, but metal on metal is never as much fun as metal with lube going into metal. So now that you've got your bearing all nice and greased up, and your cups or your frame, throw that tube spacer in there. Tighten everything down, and then simply tighten it all up. Nice and snug. And there you go. That is how you install a bottom bracket with a press, as opposed to a hammer or a rubber mallet with a block of wood. I suggest doing this if at all possible. Just less wear and tear on your frame. Boom. See how easy that was? Super simple little press I machined out of some aluminum stock I had around here. Because yes, I can DIY. Thank you very much, TikTok. And there you have it, guys. Bottom bracket in place, tube spacer in place. And it's as simple as that. Now, when it comes to the cones, outer hardware, whatever you want to call it, these bad boys, I will show you how all that works on my next how-to, which will be installing cranks and sprocket onto a frame once you have the bottom bracket in. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching as always, and get out there, ride your bike, and have some fun.